All right, welcome to The Explainer. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day price of Ethereum, watching the charts go up and down, but the real story, the one that tells us where it's actually headed in early 2026, is kind of hidden in the data. So what if the most important metrics have nothing to do with those daily price swings?
Look, that daily price chart, it tells the story, sure, but it's often the loudest and frankly the least reliable one. To really get a grip on the network's true strength, you have to look deeper. So today, we're going to explore the signals that show a network that's really maturing, but also one that's facing some serious new challenges from the outside world. Okay, so where do we start? Well, the first and maybe the most powerful signal of all is coming from inside the house, from the Ethereum community itself. We're talking about a massive, record-breaking surge in staking.
I mean, the commitment we're seeing to the network right now, it's literally at an all-time high. We're seeing an unprecedented amount of ETH being locked away for staking. And this isn't just people chasing a quick buck with rewards. No, this is a fundamental vote of confidence in Ethereum's long-term security and its vision for the future.
And get this, it's not just a handful of whales driving this whole thing. The network is expanding at the grassroots level. Reports from Yahoo Finance are showing over 447,000 new holders joining the network. Just stop and think about that number for a second. That is a huge wave of new users, and it's a super clear sign that adoption is broadening out.
Now, when you look at a chart like this, what it reveals is so crucial. This isn't some flash in the pan, right? It's not a temporary spike from one news event. We are looking at sustained, powerful momentum that's been building for months. This suggests there's a deep, structural shift happening in how people are engaging with the network.
So why does this matter so much? Because this isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. Every single staked ETH is a direct investment in the network's security, making it way harder to attack. It also pulls that supply out of circulation, but maybe most importantly, it's just this massive vote of confidence from the people who believe in it for the long haul. And all of this confidence, all this belief in the network, it's not just sitting there. It's actually fueling the next wave of innovation. A growing network isn't just getting bigger, it's getting smarter. And it's starting to tackle some of its biggest, most persistent challenges head-on. And one of those challenges is a big one. I mean, this is a potential game changer. For years, one of the biggest anxieties for anyone in crypto has been that gut-wrenching fear of a hack, or even just a simple mistake where your funds are just gone forever. Well, now developers are seriously exploring a feature that could actually change that. Okay, so the concept they're exploring is called social recovery. The best way to think about it is like this. Imagine having a group of trusted friends who can vouch for you if you lose the keys to your house. It's kind of like that, but for your digital money. It's a really fascinating attempt to balance that core principle of decentralization, where no single person is in charge, with a new layer of user safety.
So how would this even work in practice? Well, the idea goes something like this. A hack gets detected and verified. Then the community would actually discuss it and reach a consensus. And finally, if everyone agrees, the transaction could be reversed. Now, look, this is super early stage stuff, and it kicks up a huge debate, right? Should a blockchain ever be changed? It's a massive question. But the fact that they're even having this conversation shows the network is willing to tackle the really tough problems.
And that right there, that ability to even have this kind of debate is a huge testament to how resilient the developer base is. It's exactly what founder Vitalik Buterin has talked about. The ecosystem is strong enough now that even if some people leave or change their focus, the building just doesn't stop. The innovation keeps rolling.
Okay, so the internal picture looks pretty strong, right? But to get the full picture, we have to zoom out. We have to look at the real-world pressures and the critiques because, let's be honest, Ethereum doesn't exist in a bubble.
And what we're really seeing in early 2026 is this fundamental tension, this push and pull. On one side, you've got all this incredible internal strength, record staking, more users, resilient developers. But on the other side, you have these very real external risks, warnings from regulators, a deep dependency on the wider market, and even these tricky questions about moral hazard. You know, the idea that if you give people a safety net, they might start acting a little more recklessly. You know, a pretty serious cautionary note actually came from the Bank of Italy. They ran this whole thought experiment on what might happen if Ethereum went to zero. And their point wasn't, hey, Ethereum is going to zero. No, it was more of a warning shot, asking what happens if these digital systems get so tangled up with traditional finance that a problem in one could create a crisis in the other. And this brings us to another key point. Ethereum's future isn't just about its own code or its own community. It's deeply, deeply tied to these huge global economic forces. I'm talking about things like global interest rates, how much money is sloshing around in the market, what big institutions are doing. These things can act like a massive tailwind or a brutal headwind, and they have almost nothing to do with what's happening on the blockchain itself.
So, okay, let's pull all these threads together. You've got record growth on the inside, you've got bold new ideas being debated, but you've also got this serious scrutiny from the outside world. What does that all add up to? What does the complete picture really look like?
Well, the picture we get isn't this simple story of everything is perfect. Not at all. It's a picture of a maturing ecosystem. It's like it's growing up, and now it has to grapple with the complexities that come with that success. You've got these amazing on-chain signals clashing with some very real-world questions and dependencies.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really critical question to think about. Is the very thing that made Ethereum so powerful in the first place, its complexity, its decentralized nature, is that now becoming its biggest challenge to manage as it gets bigger and more integrated into our world? You know, how the community answers that question, that's probably going to define its entire next chapter.